Bindioa, hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for
Great.
asking. Happy New
Very,
Year.
yeah, Happy New Year. It's actually our first discussion of the year, so very happy to welcome you here on the podcast.
Thank you for introducing me to this podcast. It's the first time I'm doing with someone else outside of Saffron, so it's cool.
I hope the experience will be enjoying. So today we'll be discussing about enterprise architecture and digital transformation because you are an expert on that topic. You're working at Safran. You will tell us about your career, but just to introduce you, we've been in contact since 1 year almost now, and about the topics of industrial automation, digital transformation. So it's really an honor for me to welcome you here. You are based in Czech Republic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you
Check.
can tell us also a little bit about that. So without further ado, I'll let you introduce yourself and yeah, tell us who you are.
Okay. Thank you for giving me the speech now. So my name, like you said, Bindioa Ouali, is a pure African one. I'm original from Ivory Coast.
Hmm.
Okay, so start my study in Ivory Coast in what we call technical lyceum for industrial engineering and mechanical engineering too. So I'm an enterprise architect. What we speak about that,
Yeah.
I'm enterprise architect, industrial and design engineering, like specializations, with more than 10 years of engineering lead in Central Europe, precisely in Czech Republic. I start my career in new product introductions, okay, new process introductions to what to say, design of automatic lines, transfer of production, and now industry 4.0, where I'm more working as the director of digital transformation, manufacturing 4.0, supply chain 4.0 at SAFRAN cabin, a branch
Mhm.
of SAFRAN. So
Nice.
this is quite a quick introduction of myself.
Mm.
I would say Czech Republic. Why people always ask me why you came from Ivory Coast and you finished in
Yeah.
Czech Republic. Very funny. Uh, Czech. Do not forget that in between the first war, I would say World War and second one, it was
Hmm.
one of the biggest industry in terms of industrial engineering
Hmm.
in Central Europe. First of all, people have to remind that first.
Yeah,
They have
it's not very well known, huh?
exactly. People
Mm.
forget about that. What I discovered in Czech Republic, the first things I discovered in Czech Republic is how to combine theories and practice.
Mm.
My training was in different company in Czech Republic where operators were teaching me how to transform my knowledge and theories in practice.
Mhm.
I have had a chance to meet very good professors in this, my university here, where I did the
Mhm.
double courses, and they teach me also how to bring this practice theory in practice, and also reverse how
Mhm.
to theorize practical knowledge in order to bring to make an experience. That's why I follow the courses of engineering.
Okay. So one moment here. You mean during your let's say your curriculum or your education, you did a double degree in Czech Republic, right?
Yes.
And about the engineering aspect, you're saying something related to theory and practical. What do you really mean about that? Do you say that physics is not practical?
No, I would say it's not about to maybe the word practical is not well used here, but I will try to bring things. I think as
Hmm.
an engineers, you always like to design, process it, and implement and see your baby's working lifetime. So I think the
Right.
biggest success of an engineer is to see the ideas he has to be physical.
Mm.
Something you can touch, you can feel, and you can process with that. The problem that we have, and I would say in different engineering schools, is that we stay a lot on the theories and we lost the practical approach of the stuff.
Hmm.
In enterprise, we ask people to deliver a product, to deliver something physical.
Right.
So I do agree that we have to spend a lot of time, like we did in preparatory classes or in engineering school, on theories.
Mm.
But I think practical approach, combine both of them, like we see today in digital twins approach that we speak about,
Mm-hmm.
is one of the key elements to bring the biggest design to value for our peoples and for our enterprise. So
Yeah.
I really value both of them. I'm more someone like to feel what I'm doing, so I will spend
Mm.
more time in production than in offices. But I would say 60% of the skills we learn have to be somehow combined, a combination between theories and practice,
Mm-hmm.
then 30% processes, and then after the tools.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really enjoyable, I would say, to have someone like you who is more of a field guy, I would say, despite being an enterprise architect. It's pretty rare, right? Usually when you speak to enterprise architects, they are all in their theories. They have the perfect view of how the enterprise should be. But it's nice to have people like you who know the field and enjoy it, right? So,
Exactly. And let me give you a simple introduction about definition of enterprise architecture.
mm-hmm,
I would say enterprise architecture, similar to industrial engineering, it's almost the same philosophy, is a bridge between the business processes and the technology processes,
mm,
technological like IT and other things. So the enterprise architect aim to build a more coherent visions between business component,
mm,
that mean I would say a business component like stakeholder, like people's set of human, and technological component. We will talk about operational, like machine, PLC, robot, but also information system component that are EAPs, business analyst tools, and other things.
yeah,
And this is the heart of what we say. And I will bring here another definition that is very important for people before we start our discussion.
yeah, go
When we
ahead.
talk about enterprise,
Mm,
enterprise is a definition of set of human, I repeat two times,
mm-hmm,
hardware, software, group together, organize some way to achieve a set of objective.
okay.
So an enterprise could be a company, like you say, people, hardware to sell a product, but it could be also a processes like or a department. A department like information system is an enterprise because you have people, you have hardware, you have software, and you need to organize them somehow to bring a sense of tools, a sense of processes to user in order to
Mm-hmm,
be able to deliver an activities on a daily basis.
mm,
So everything around of us is on my job bring, I would say, people mindset, technology together in order to make them speak together and
mm-hmm.
facilitate the communication between them. And this
Right.
is one of the reasons that a lot of digital projects or IT projects are failing because the human factors and the processes are sometimes really neglected at the beginning.
Mhm. Yeah. So starting with that set of human aspect of the enterprise, you said that it's both a set of human, set of technology, also a set of processes. But um, as an engineer, you approach this enterprise architecture job also with the eyes of people management. So isn't it very important, to know how to manage people and skills when you are an architect?
Oh, I would say um, emotional intelligence, understanding the context for a transformation leaders, because we are transformation guys, right?
Hmm.
You have to understand the barrier of communications. You have to be able to translate visions and roadmap to a language of technical people. This is the most difficult. I think our management needs a target, a financial target,
Yep.
in order because company run because of cash.
Hmm.
You need to make money. You need to
Exactly.
make
It's a
money.
market enterprise. Yeah.
And they have targets from stakeholders, also from investors. And you need to translate this language in business processes to achieve this result operationally. So in organizations, like an engineers, you have experts, you have general people, you have user. So experts mainly are the people bringing the technology at a high level in order they are able to achieve, I would say, a very high amount of results
Mm-hmm.
with a small set of information. But they are have a difficulty sometimes to translate the knowledge to something very easy for the other users. Okay.
Mm.
So the role of the architect is of the enterprise architect is to ease this translation.
I
So
see.
you
I see.
need to understand people way of communication in different domains. In my domain, operation technology, we have to understand how the machine environment, maintenance environment, and industrial engineering environment is working versus how the product will be developed and manufactured to deliver
Mm-hmm.
evaluation to the customer. It's not so easy to do it in one short time. So I would say there is not just one way to achieve enterprise architecture.
Mm.
People
Okay.
start by making study training to get there. I decided to learn all the phases of a product development to reach this performance. And it's not about that it was planned before. This is bullshit. Oh, sorry for all. It was because my engineering study create a general environment around me to learn from design processes
Mm.
through prototyping, through manufacturing, project management of big factories, transfer of productions, to understand the complexity of this enterprise architecture, this enterprise organization, and give me the opportunity to manage today this kind of position today. So yes,
Mm.
you need to not be an expert in management, but you need to understand how to manage expert and
Mm-hmm.
how to translate your stakeholder, your management financial target to technology and processes and training material for the people who use it to achieve results.
Yeah. Right.
This,
Right. Yeah, it's good that we start with that people management aspect. So let's stay on that topic. I had a few questions for you when you were speaking, but I didn't want to interrupt you. You mentioned the when you are in a company, you need to translate the financial and business objectives into the language of some technical experts, for instance. Um, and the question for you was, when you're talking about the expert, what's your definition of it? Is it someone who is very specialized, or someone who has a generalist view on every technological aspect? How do you define expert?
my boss considered me like an expert, but I'm not an expert. I would say I'm more a
Okay.
specialist of processes in industrial engineering. But I would say we call a lot of things expert. Okay, so maybe the word, I would say more, we have the Pareto of processes is the same, 20/80.
Mm-hmm.
20% of key processes and key people are able to generate 80% of result of your company if you
Right.
manage them well. So in this 20%, you have specialists and you have maybe 5 or 10% of experts in different domains.
Mm.
You have to have enough general people, the middle management, to absorb the needs to transform them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You always need to have specialists in different activities. For me, for example, one very important thing that people forget about is, I would say, what we call industrial network or industrial operation technology activities network. The way
Mm-hmm.
you connect a machine to a database
Yeah.
is an expertise. You need to have specialized people inside. Each
Yeah.
of this architecture cannot be mastered by general people, but
Mm.
you need to have enough people understand the output of these processes to be able to
Mm.
explore this data. This is where you need to have general people, data analysts, data engineers to be able to master. But the configuration and programming of this between the equipment and the database need to be done by a set of experts because the knowledge, the complexity of that take many years to absorb them from
Mm.
school to many of subject that the people met.
Yeah.
So
And you got a lot of details, especially in networking.
exactly. And you need to have this aspect. People are
Mm.
always neglect this aspect in the projects, by defining complex size of project or complex projects in different area without considering that, like I
Mm,
said, knowledge, knowledge, skills, right? Process and tools.
mm.
Don't have them before, sure that your project will fail.
Yeah, that for
But
sure. I like the 2080 rule, and yeah. So what I understand is for the detailed programming or parameter, you need some very specialized expert. But in general, everybody needs to understand the output of it, right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And for example, today technology are evolving. We are using technology to help us to program.
Mm-hmm.
This machine needs knowledge. They need to clone some way of doing. You're not taking the basic people. If I think you
Of course.
take generative AI and you clone that to basic people, the generative AI will not bring a value to the company. So you need this expert people to give the knowledge to the system in order that they will be shared worldwide or on the biggest area in order people will export the knowledge. But
Hmm.
it need also to be structured
I see.
because not all the information need to be shared with people. It will
Hmm.
create confusion.
Right, right. So let's say you have these profiles, like the expert guys, the more general guy, and they have a great idea. Let's say an innovation. They want to develop something which will bring more value to the business. How can you, as an enterprise architect, can support them? And give them voice towards the CCUs, the top leadership. How do you manage the how can I say the bind between those technical experts and the top level management?
Today, I will give you an example before starting to give an answer to your
Hmm.
question. I'm leading 8 industrial system architects. They are
Mm,
composite from French engineering school people, expert in Czech Republic in terms of informatics and the maintenance and so on. On a daily basis, the job is to scope and to define objective of an architect.
mm.
The management on the top, people, I think this is, I'll not take any defense because today I'm, I'm a director too.
Yeah,
They have on a daily basis more than 1,000 emails to solve
that's for
and
sure.
problematics.
Mm,
If you don't give them a statement, for example, of your project, for example, my project of transformations, we achieve this by this. This is the problem, the statement, and this is the solution in less than 5 lines.
mhm.
That means you didn't understand your own subject.
Say it again, because that one I always tell to people and they don't trust me. So,
So I would say, in order to master and understand things, you need to be able to easily define the KPIs at the end of a project, the
mm,
expected outcome with the easiest word and architecture define modeling of your subject. When you are able to plot it on a paper, easy for people, you understand your subject.
yeah, and yeah, it's a really important point, and I wanted to mention something related to that. Usually here, I'm a system integrator and doing automation technologies for industries, and when I come to that topic, like you need to simplify your subject, otherwise it will be not clear for anyone. What I receive as a feedback is, you see, it's too simple to be true. You know what I mean? And usually when you try
Yes, I
to,
understand your point. I
yeah, when
really
you try to
understand.
put it in a picture which is very clear for anyone, let's say even the top management can understand it, even an expert can understand it. Usually it can be double-sided. Either it will be very simple to support and you will get the sponsorship of your management, or it will be viewed as it's too low standard. So what's your point of view on that?
Uh, I think everything's about, I will always talk about business, right? You have stakeholder, objective. They have defined what they want to achieve.
Mm,
If the way you define your subject, make them understand that this subject help them to their objective, why not they will not support you?
mm.
At the end, any CEO or chief operating officer, lead of department need to achieve results at the end, and they have some needs, and you need to bring to respond to the needs by defining requirements, but also demonstrate the leadership and the way you achieve a result to them.
Mm,
They need to get confidence. Like I said, more than 60% of the biggest projects fail because we didn't have time to simplify
mm,
the subject because sometimes they are very complex.
yeah.
Let me give you a very easy project, sometimes that people very neglect it at the beginning of the project.
Hmm.
EAPs.
Ah, yeah. I was sure you will talk about it.
EAP subject. People say, oh, we will change a version of EAP.
Hmm.
Then it's okay. But when you start your school, you go to the next level. If I bring you I would tell a mathematical formula
Hmm.
that you never understand, never seen from your life, even if the formula is almost the same formula that you have seen in the first classes, but the way to make the demonstration never been explained to you,
Mm,
and the output of the formula is not the same, you fail
hmm. Hmm.
because you think that you understand, but at the end, you fail one time, you fail two times, and you stop to use it.
Of course.
Okay, so this is the things that people have to understand. As an expert, expertise is not to be a master of a technology. Is also a way for me to present easy the understanding of the subject for the common. And it's very difficult. I'm not saying
Mm,
that it's easy. Not all the subject can be understood by everybody.
yeah.
This is not possible. But you have to help yourself to bring this at a very simple things. My rules was teaching by my former bosses,
What?
Jean-Marie Ben. I will tell his name today. He will laugh when maybe you see this video. But I make 17 versions or definitions of a specification for him the first time I met him.
Oh
17.
my. Okay.
17 versions.
That's a lot.
He will laugh when you hear that. Why? The lesson learned of that is if you are not able to explain easily your complex idea, that means
Mm.
you are already on the way for failing.
Yeah, I think it was a good lesson, and yeah, I think people who are hearing this will take it. So, understanding how to, match the need of people, the need of the business, the language, the communication aspect, and there's a very important part that we didn't mention since the beginning. It's also the language. Like you are polyglot, you speak English, French, Czech now,
Yeah.
and also sometimes with the language you can also achieve a lot more. So
Yeah,
that's a very
language
nice
is
aspect.
key. English is key. I decided to learn Czech because I wanted to, like I said, practical approach of my job.
Mm,
My job is to deliver an equipment at beginning to an operator to bring value. So if I
yeah.
didn't feel how what is interaction, the 5M environment, the material under
Mm-hmm.
its behavior, what kind of standard, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to feel it. So I started to learn the language. So, and this is also important. An enterprise architect is not only here to accompany the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's here to bring this information to define model, to steer this transformation with people to make it happen. So my role,
Mm,
for example, language is key when you do that. You need to understand the emotional environment. You need to understand the environment of the people. You need to ease the way they use. And once they have defined that, you bring the tools, and the
yeah,
tools will accelerate the processes.
that's nice. Great, great. And I don't know if you can tell us in Czech, how do you say digital transformation?
Digitalnie transformace.
Okay, that looks the same, but interesting. So that was the, let's say, the people aspect of it, managing people, the skills, etc. Now let's dive in onto the second aspect that you mentioned, the process part of the enterprise, because I know it's a big topic. A lot of managers, they take a lot of time to establish nice process, which have, which are very, easy to understand, easy to convey to the team. First of all, I wanted to see what's your point of view on this decision making thing. Let's say you have a process to decide something, you know. Um, some people argue that it's better to put the decision making, the power, into the hands of the people who are actually doing the work. So the operators, the machine, let's say the machine supervisors, etc. But my question is, does it work in all cultural and all contexts? For instance, you are in Eastern Europe. Is it does it work if you say, okay, the worker or the operator will take the decision, or it's more something from the Occidental culture? What do you think?
Oh, I don't think that it's only related to culture. It depends. Okay, it's true that if you bring these kind of things in a very cost in a very complex environment to let people take a decision on automations tools,
Mm-hmm.
you maybe not bring the same results.
Mm.
But let me bring it differently. You know the Pentagon system, right? They
Not really. What is it?
they define strategy, they define the training, they define the system, and they give to the all the military people in
Mm-hmm.
different region the way to fight. But they
Interesting.
don't go every time to take the gun to tell the people put the gun at 50% or 15
Mm.
degrees or of your target in order to be able to shoot the guy. The guy are trained. The guy
Mm.
are, they know what to take, when to take a decision. I more believe to this kind of organizations than to
Mm.
think that we will be on the top and deciding everything. So I would say again, it depends on the context. If you develop a product where the human value added is the most important to transform, like our product,
Mm-hmm.
it's always interesting to develop the skills of the user and the stakeholder to take the decision at the right place.
Okay. Mm.
I would say that if
Mm.
you create the product where it's very safety related and you know that the impact of the user of the of the of the operator is very important, you
Mm.
need to define this environment to reduce the risk. So
Yeah.
I would say at the end, business processes is always taking the right decision at the right place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the operator has the skills definition to take a decision at the right place.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if it's something, let's say, more creative, and people have the skill to do it, then for sure it's the best decision to let them do. But yeah, depending on the risk and the security aspect, sometimes you have to put some constraints, right?
We are human, right? I
Mm.
think you and me, we are working with technology. We will not like every day someone will come to tell to us, put the pen somewhere. You need to create, I will tell, idea and use case come from down,
Mm-hmm.
and strategy and roadmap come from top.
Sure.
But you need to create an environment where people could be sometime creative. But creativity doesn't mean that you have to be creative in the center of a production. No,
Mm-hmm.
they have to deliver some things. They have to do some things according to a sequence of production. But sometimes they will have some idea to propose, and you need to absorb this idea in order to be able to bring it back to your process and give them back a process that are available for them to continue because they are on daily process. They always daily understanding things that you even don't know,
Mm-hmm.
see things. So they have idea, they have creativity. You need to take them, filter them, give them back what is applicable in certain level and so on. So in terms
Yeah.
of decision making, all organizations want every time to take the quickest decision as quick as possible because
Mm-hmm.
we also that the curve between the speed, the decision, the speed of this to take the decision has an impact on the business.
Yeah.
So the most quickest decision can be taken under a control, the best is for the business in order to deliver the value that we are looking for.
Mm. Yeah,
And the
that
aim
makes
is
sense.
also in the value stream of all of organization.
Yeah. And let's say someone from the operation lines have a great idea to establish a new process, and you are his manager. Um, how will you react if people say, "Ah, it's just an operator; he cannot take the lead"?
Okay.
Because sometimes even the best processes, they are established by the line operators. But the thing is, uh, let's say, I don't know why, but people will tend to ignore, or take their ideas but remove the name on it. And yeah, how you react as his manager?
I have seen that many times. I would say people thinking that the most intelligent people to take decision and people doing the school is wrong. Some French guy said that, I forgot his name.
Hmm.
You can give the opportunity to operator to take a great subject if it's fitting with a strategy and a business goal.
Hmm.
You have to help them. Of course, it depends on the context. Okay, if you are in a troubleshooting mode with a crisis with a customer, you cannot focus on creating a new technology. Right? You create to stabilize the situation
Right.
and let people know. But you have to make an incubations of the idea in order to come back on that, to find a way to come back on that. Because this is the thing. So we have a lot of idea, we put in the box, but we don't have a processes to consolidate them and understand the value added for our business.
Hmm.
Okay? Because continuous improvement activity are key for business sustainability. But we always firefight and say, oh no, we will see next. This is late. So I would say for an operator, has an idea, a great idea that are fitting with a business goal,
Hmm.
at 80%, I would take, if the moment I have the condition to help him to make a green belt project or to progress, I'll give him enough training to make it happen. But we have to find a way to explore or to give the opportunity to some people to use the biggest skills where they are good at,
Hmm.
not only to blame them because they didn't went to school or whatever. If it was for that, I would not be in Czech Republic, right? So because here my diploma doesn't have any value. They don't know
Hmm.
me because I did higher métier. They know me because I have bring them value added in technical engineering and in other things, And so
Hmm.
this is the most important things.
Yeah, that's nice. And I like that culture of, giving the opportunity to the best ideas. And I think that's what companies like Amazon or Tesla, now many people are blaming them, but what they achieve the best is a capacity to put ability and to enable their employees to
Mhm.
perform at the best of their skills. So I think
Exactly,
we
and
can take
this
example on
is
them.
under a control environment.
Yeah.
So you can make, like you said, operation technology, IT convergence. You always say that, right?
Hmm.
So people from working with a machine understood how they can explore the information. The people from IT, they understand exactly how the network have to be done. But if they don't merge at some certain level, if you don't
Hmm.
let people from OT making sometimes some proposal in networking to make the equipment more performance, if you don't let the IT people propose you a security file in order to secure your equipment from external attack, you
Hmm.
will never be able to explore the biggest value of your industrial data asset.
Makes sense.
So this is also a form
Hmm.
of letting these people working in a very different environment, even if it's not the expertise, they could have better idea to help you progress.
Yeah, that's very nice. So we are still on the process and organization aspect. One question regarding that idea of you need to digitalize your processes. Once you have established them, they need to be digitalized. What do you think about automating everything? Like usually people tend to a digital project just consists of taking the actual current project and putting it into the form of, let's say, digital systems. Is it right, or should we work out on the process first?
My current boss will say that let digitalize to make lean manufacturing, or let make lean manufacturing to support a very strong digitalization and automation. I
Interesting.
think both of them, in both of them, you need some case by pushing people making automation, they are seeing the complexity of the system and they put the baseline to reach the performance.
Hmm.
So that means they will use automation as a key enabler for lean manufacturing.
Okay.
Okay. For example, BIs. Okay, you can quickly automate a reporting to help people to take decision.
Yeah, based on the
But,
data.
but the data are not clean because the data quality level are not yet at the right level. But you quickly make a projection of a situation showing that something is not really correct, and you use that to take a decision.
Yeah.
I would say that in some case it's important to let people making this kind of automation to make them to ease the interpretation of what will be the next action. Okay, this is where you use the data set. But in some case, like the connectivity of equipment, I will always tell people to standardize first the data set, the industrial data set that they need to use to make the equipment better. For the moment, we always talk about OEE. Okay, OEE, you have availability, you have availability, you have performance and quality. Each of them has an impact on the fixed cost of the performance of a company. So if you don't define clearly which level you impact on the OEE before automate the reporting, you show wrong approach of your performance and it's not good.
Yeah.
So you need to standardize first what you want to measure, which are the critical items important of your equipment, where have the downtime, what are the key downtime that you need to master in order to make your equipment running at the right capacity. And then after you can plug on that
Yeah.
to start to project. And I always say people, before starting to say my performance this one, let's try to understand what is going on in terms of availability. You need to plot how your machine environment is behaving. And then after you understand the behavior, you create model of your behavior and you try to match with your business requirement. And if once you match it, you can now say, okay, this is the prescriptive approach to improve my performance. But if you don't plot the content, you don't diagnostic the content, you don't start to understand that, you can start to make prescriptive approach of your business. Otherwise, you will fail. So I would say lean your processes before automations, or you use automation to lean your processes in order to get results. So in
Yeah.
both cases, it's working. It depends on the context.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Like it's really both ways, between the improvements and the automation. So yeah, that's clear.
It's
You want to say something?
No, the architect people are like that. We always use the the way to bring the result better. But I say I use BI and things to quickly plot some situation in order to bring result. We use a formula to create interpretations of I would say not quantitative qualitative system, because by using KPIs to qualitative approach, you can speak to experts because they speak with numbers. You make this, but and the once you make a qualitative approach, you stabilize your process. You can make a quantitative approach, and this help people to always map what is the skills, what is the process, and then what is the tools associated to them that why is working. So this is a way I'm seeing things.
That looks like a very interesting job, being able to mix all those concepts and methods. It's more of a job of a magician, I would say, because
It's more a
you,
job of
you,
system engineers. I would
yeah,
say
that's nice.
you,
Yeah,
you,
system engineering.
exactly.
Actually, let's talk
System
about
engineering
what is it?
is the same job
Mm-hmm.
of system engineers in equipment or machine or computer or cars,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a system engineer for enterprise.
I see.
So you understand the things.
Yeah.
It's the same philosophy. It's just
Let's
that
say, for instance, if I take the same approach as system engineering for an aeroplane, for instance, the
exactly,
enterprise will be the whole, let's say the whole machine, and you have several sub components. You need to know the description of each component, also the connection between them, to be able to make the best design, right?
exactly. But you are not an expert in each component.
Yeah.
You understand the interface, how to make that, and you take in account
Mm-hmm.
the stakeholder, the human interface with that, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same. So now take this job and bring them. It's more complex because now you have stakeholder people,
Mm-hmm.
and you have an organization. You have always permanent organization. And you have also the customer views of your
Mm-hmm.
organization, and then you have to take all these things, put it in a structured way to help your company defining the best approach of a transformation, of a digital transformation.
So one last question about this aspect of process and organization. Let's say you are the owner of one factory, right? And you are buying a new factory, and both factories have their own process, which are maybe slightly different. How do you manage the merging of those two processes?
Okay. We explained today, not nothing is good or bad. You have to have a business model. Okay, you buy a new company to be able to sell something.
Mm.
The product define the way we manufacture, the way we collect the demand, the
Mm-hmm.
way we make the services. So if I'm buying a new company with an objective to reach a business model, and my organization, my processes, my macro processes is not matching this one, but the new company has some element to help me to get the financial results,
Mm-hmm.
I will try to consolidate the best elements of this new company with mine. So that means I will make a streamline of my organization and my processes with the business model in order to achieve the result at the end. That doesn't
Mm.
mean that I will change completely the way my company is working today. No, I will take the good things adaptable to the business, but I will also keep the processes based on the business model of the company that I have bought to be able to reach the performance. At the
You.
end, there is nothing that is good or bad. There
Mm.
is a common sense of processes and element allow the value stream to deliver results.
You know that requires a lot of open-mindedness, right? Because
Yes,
acknowledging that your process is not the best and the other process is the best, that's not easy.
and this is what I'm always saying to people, and
Hmm.
it's easy to speak like that. And I'm a normal human, right? I'm
Yeah.
frustrating when people come to me, but the biggest and the complex job of an enterprise architect is a continuous improvement on a daily, weekly,
Mm.
or monthly basis,
Mm.
and understanding that what you propose today have to evolve to be able to achieve a business target.
Mm.
It's not only telling this is my requirement is close, it's an agility
Yeah.
to understand that things are moving, especially in this new area. Why we need digital transformation? Because the processes are already existing, but we need to accelerate the processes and the organization's value stream to be able to achieve a business goal.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's
Always
why we
improving.
use transform digital tools to help us for that. But these tools are based on foundations, methods, and they came as a lever to accelerate the transformation.
Yeah.
So if you don't streamline and you don't make the best of a component in your foundation and your methods, you will fail because the tools we take shit in, shit out. It's very easy calculations.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is a problem. So
Mm.
sometimes people say we want the OEE dashboard, but you always ask them for what?
Yeah.
No, because a TV is there showing things. Yeah, but for what? What you want to achieve as a video? You want to streamline the downtime in order to clean them. You
Mm.
want to, I don't know, to see what is the real throughput in order to take better decision
Mm.
for your new demand. What you really want to achieve, and this is the main question that we ask every time to our bosses. And this is a difficult thing because they want digital transformation, but they don't know what they want to achieve with that.
Sure. Yeah, that's an important point. I mean, always being improvements, it requires also, the ability to know that you are not starting from the perfect set. So you need to question why you want to do it, for which objective, and yeah, it
And
takes
you need
time.
to make steps like
Hmm.
think big, act local. Think big, act small.
Mm.
Enterprise architecture are structure that evolve. You make many versions to achieve a final goal. It's not a short-term vision, but you have to start by small blocks of elements that you draw, and then you architecture them in order to reach a performance at the end. So
Hmm.
it's a very complex job. I think people doesn't see the value of that because for them it seems to be a little bit not it
Blur or
and other things. But if you see my experience, you
Mm,
can see why I'm speaking to you like that because I have been able to touch different activities, different business activities, but different functions,
mm,
which allow me today to understand when you start to develop, even if you start to make an offer to a customer, what will be the consequence for the long-term deliveries
mm,
and
mm.
what will be the function that will be impacted. And this is important that this is important for a company, someone able to do that for any big project because EAP project can be very costly if you don't make a good architecture before.
Sure. I will take that sentence, think global but act local.
Yeah.
And that will make the transition with our last part about technology. But first I wanted to thank you because you are a perfect example that we can design an enterprise architecture just by starting with people and processes.
Mm.
And technology is just the last part. And I think with our discussion it's really well appearing.
A lot
That's
of people in digital transformation will not like that, but so
Yeah, but we have something for them. I mean, for those who like technology, we are also discussing it now. But yeah, really like the skills, the people, the organization, that's really the
mm,
core of it, right?
mm,
So you said think global and act local, and that makes me think also of infrastructure. So if we are talking about system infrastructure in terms of IT and OT, there's usually a distinction between the centralized infrastructure, the distributed or decentralized infrastructure. What's your point of view on this one?
oh, this is my fight every day. Uh, you know, security is key in
Hmm.
digital transformation. So I would say a centralized organization allowed to better monitor your assets and the security run. I think it's one of the very strong part of the company where I was this one because they have a strong central organization in order to monitor that.
Mm,
The problem is of central is how you can combine agility and speed versus this one because if you create a silos of your central, you're not interesting.
mm,
I will always say I like one name in centralization is unifying namespace.
mhm.
You can use unified namespace not only for data collections and things, but also for your networking.
Yeah, just for those who don't know, the unified namespace is like a space, like digital space, where you will define each component of your factory or your lines in terms of model, and each model will be attached to the like real-time data which is happening in the factory, right?
Exactly.
Mm,
And by doing that, not only for data, but also for your networking organizations, you give the opportunity not only to control what is going inside, because it's not matching the model, but also you monitor and you give opportunity and agility to the local people to quickly plug a standard to that.
mm,
So if you create a backbone, centralized backbone, with the opportunity with defined pipelines where people can come with standard things to plug in order to explore the activities, I will be happy. So I would say, for example, for me, you need to have an hybrid, a very strong
mm.
backbone from Central to monitor each entry and output of your organizations for security wise, for
Yeah.
standardizing and cost management, but a decentralized plugin with standardized components, not what is inside, but the bridge to allow people to quickly make use case and explore
Mm.
that. Today, use
So
case should be
To
quick.
put it in other terms, the backbone should be centralized and the sources of data can be distributed, right?
Distributed, yes. And
Mm,
I would say distributed per business
mm,
model. It could be distributed per type of activity. It would depend how you want to. And because if you make a merging of a new company, you just take what is necessary to plug to no backbone. If
exactly.
you want to sell a company, you just remove what you need and you move. But when you create a full centralized organization, where when you cut a pipe, it destabilizes all the organization.
Mm,
This is not really interesting. So I would tell people to have a centralized backbones with a key security asset for the in out, and let a local distributed organization in order to use the data to
mhm.
bring value. And
Interesting.
this
Okay.
is this is that's why I like the combination between cloud, hybrid cloud, and on-premise system. On-premise system for more secure things, and I would more say that I like to have a PLM and a PLM where you create value, where you think on the premise because you create a lot of assets
Yep.
in order to sell, and where you just need to make a quick analyze to bring that in I would tell in how to say that in a data lake
Hmm.
with an unified namespace in order to be able to quickly explore your use case and bring value. And
Hmm.
you don't forget, we
Yeah.
talk about
Interesting.
decision making, right? So
Mm,
if you want to have fast decision making, you need to have a way to have access to this information to take the decision making.
yeah.
So
So the infrastructure is basically at the service of your decision making, right?
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And this is that's why it's very important to architect to make this architecture before, where you take in account the speed of your response to a
Mm,
customer. 24 hours after a claim, okay, so how I will be able to have access to the information? Should I wait 48 hours? Okay, so how I will be able to have access to information? I have a new demand on the market.
mhm,
Oh, new plane. So the lead time is 20, or I will tell a very stupid component is 20 days. Okay, how all my cycle from the customer demand, the assessment, the validation of the order, the design, the
mhm,
manufacturing, the supply chain, and everything will make sure that I will be able to deliver. You
mhm.
need to think the same way how you design your backbone, your centralized things.
Nice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
many companies today are suffering from that because they just use the historical one and they plug on that. Yes,
Mm,
okay. So then take in account also that you be impacted your decision making. So now
yeah.
make the exercise by seeing what is the value added of your decisions and the data set versus your existing structure.
Yeah. That's
For
a good, also an important strategy to put in place for companies who have a big historical infrastructure. It's to define how we can start moving to more, let's say, data lake oriented infrastructure, because
it
that
could
will
be
be the best way to make faster decision. And if they keep their old infrastructure, for sure they are going to fail.
it depends on what you want to achieve. Is what I'm telling to my boss. If you want to achieve agility and speed,
Hmm.
you need to make your systems, your equipment, your tools, and your people able to achieve this result. So if you let the silos, you have the silos answers, but you need to also take in account. So if you let, you can stay in silos, but you need to put an organization to people where you can respond to a business need, right?
Hmm.
But if you let also agility, you have agility response, but there's advantage and inconvenience in both cases.
Hmm.
So the most hybrid and approach I have seen, and I really like it because I'm working a lot with Amazon
Yeah,
and different things. It was Amazon has their own ERPs.
sure. Mm,
They have their own ERPs. They forget about the standard way of doing an ERPs. And for a long time, I didn't understand them. Why they do that? Because ERP have to be. But step by step, I understood. You know, ERP's transactions are very complex. But now, the time from hiring people is more than 80 days.
mhm.
So, and the knowledge of ERPs is lost.
Yep.
So they anticipate to that knowledge will be lost, and they create a way to use the data to take the decision. So today is maybe the business model is working with the way we work today.
Hmm.
Maybe in 10 days, 10 years it will not be. But I really like the approach that the way they build the things is agile to be adaptable to the market and the business needs. And it's very interesting to see that.
Yeah, nice example. Nice example. Also, regarding the technological aspect, one question about how you choose the right technology. Usually, people tend to forget the technical assessment, or they don't even do a proof of concept before buying a technology. What's in your perspective? What's the best way to choose a technology for industries?
My boss and me, we are very focused on diagnostic.
Okay.
Any one disease, one pill. You can have universal vaccine for all the disease. This doesn't work.
That makes
The
sense.
people think about that. I will disagree, and the baby don't like what I'm saying. You can't have one solution solving all your problem.
Yeah.
Each problem, one solution. That's why you need to have a platform of solution.
Mhm.
Simple, low cost if you want, easy to plug, accessible to people. So to come back to your to your question, you have to start by the state the statement builder, what you want
Mhm.
to achieve, which target you want to achieve. Then you make a diagnostic of your current state. That means diagnostic means which skills you have available, which process you need to improve, if the technology is matching with what you have exiting now according to your target. Based on that, I always advise people to make a testing, a proof of concept.
Mhm.
Proof of
So
concept.
basically, one thing, you are not really in line with people who like all-in-one technologies. Like you prefer to do first your assessment, test it before choosing the technology, right?
In unlike platform of technology, I would
Like,
say for each layer of your organization, like the international system of automation 95,
mm-hmm,
you have layers. They define the same thing. So why should I have one solution cover all my ISA 95
mm,
if they define block of function? Of course, based on the cost, quality, and delivery, I should use things that are very compatible. I
mm,
agree. But I should not use one solution. I should use a set of blocks. And I'm more tech to people today.
interesting.
If you can have a backbone strong with different technology, but also have the possibility to have very strong data analysis, very strong data in different domains, you can quickly make a result of what you're looking for.
Hmm.
Okay, because you have the data available, you can plug, assess, diagnostic, plot, and say, okay, I want to go really long term in this area. Sometimes people want a PLM.
Mm,
They tell, I want a PLM. Or at the end, what they need inside of a PLM is just a configuration management. Because the problem today is just a configuration of needs.
yeah.
So I'm always telling to people, you have the data and the people, the process available. Just assess them. You answer to a lot of your questions. And
Hmm.
then after that, you can make a better return of investment of where you want to go. But some things have to be standardized. Like, for example, I always tell to people, your API, you need to define your API based on your business model. For example, if you
Hmm.
want to have real-time asset tracking, use the technology to be able to do that. Make a very strong backbone on that. If
Hmm.
you want to have a strong demand analysis because your product impose a lot of cash at beginning, make a strong system for that. But
Hmm.
based on your needs,
Yeah.
but not go to buy one. I would say one module doing. I will not cite any name, but one module telling that he can do papa and mama everything in same time. No way, doesn't work this one.
Yeah, but one I will just add one contradiction here. Usually, people, I mean, people understand, right? What you are saying is the best way to go, but you will talk with some, let's say, information system managers who will tell you, if I'm going for a technology which is like a set of technology, as you said, which is adapted to my use cases, which gives me the real value, it will be too low cost. And when I will present it to my management, they will say, oh, how come that your solution is just 10 million euro and the other information system guys, they are investing 500 million euro in their system? That
And
means they will have more value than yours. So how do you face that
I
contradiction?
would tell to him to show me the architecture of the solution first.
Okay. Mm,
Everything is saying that if the business model of your company show me 5,000 components combined to one to take a decision and I
mhm,
propose a solution non-answer to that, I will tell, I'm sorry, my solution is not proposing.
mm,
Every time the cost of the investment came from the way you define your specification. The way you define your solution is the way you understand the need. The way you understand the need is about how you master your business processes versus your enterprise target. I
mhm,
said enterprise architecture is a set of human, hardware, and software, group it and organize a way to set to achieve a result.
mm,
So 500 things, I agree, it could happen. But I'm able today to give you a MES at less than 30,000 euros per year.
mm. And people will think you're insane, but that's
And,
the
and,
reality.
and it will do the minimum requirement you need for the
Mm.
business.
But
But
how come, let's say, for instance, your directors already voted a budget of 500,000 euro, and you come and you say it should be costing only 30,000 euro.
I will give him my job. My job is to give him a result on the most optimal solution for the company.
Okay.
I will not go to lie him and to say, yes, I have a project at 500. No.
Mm.
If I make savings, we can reuse this money for most important project.
Yeah.
Even if you budget it, the things that people have to do, I understand these things are totally understand where you are going because you are meeting every time. They make budgets. In fact, this is a problem: is that they make budget before defining the solution. Then they discover that the solution is maybe more expensive or less expensive, and now they have
Exactly.
to go back to justify that. I'm
Exactly.
making that every years. Every
Yes.
years they do the budgeting before we start to study the thing.
And
But
that's our problem.
yeah, but as an engineer, has the things, I understand the process. So
Yeah.
every years, step by step, I'm making more research in advance to populate my previous budget in order to
Mhm.
arrive and to be more precise. In 2018, I was not precise. Now, today, I'm more and more precise on bringing them the estimation when they do the budgeting.
Of
And I
course.
know where to put the margin and all in order to be able to achieve. But
Mm.
this is an exercise. It's because now I understand how the organization is working and
Yeah.
I'm already anticipating what they would make like a change
Mm-mm. Yeah, you anticipate all those aspects of
as
budgeting.
much as possible.
To let to to make it possible to bring back the right technology choice, meaning the definition of the need, the definition of the value added. So, and I think that's a good aspect. So
Yeah,
for project managers who are listening to us, you can take some example on Bindioa, like even if you want to define your project and the management says, okay, the budget is already voted, maybe you can improve next year and make it happen with anticipation.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's not the role of a project manager. You need to have an architect
of course.
for any project. And I will insist on this one because this job is always neglected everywhere.
Mm,
I
mhm.
don't understand why. And the things is because they see as an activities of paper or assessment and so on. But the biggest cost of any CapEx come from the definition of the specification.
Yeah,
If you
I
don't,
mean,
and the definition and specification where you are in very dynamic environment with human is, if you don't master that, the
yeah.
assessment, you create complexity. When you create complexity, but you have high cost,
Mm-mm.
you will make a failure of your project.
Yeah, it's highly important for all types of industries, and I will say not just for the big industries like multinational companies, even small businesses. They should look into how to architect better their enterprise, right?
Exactly. Because you
So
have size and complexity.
yeah. Mm. Regarding the complexity, one last question before we finish, so that it won't be too long. It's about data. So, how an enterprise architecture expert like yourself has a view on data? Is it uh, an asset for value creation? Is it making possible to communicate between services or processes, as you said. How do you view data?
Data is an asset for value creation today. We
Mm.
didn't see for many years, but I think people are talking to that in digital transformation like they forget the past. We were sending message, posts, we were sending emails, and every of the information we have on that help us to take decision on the business. We make contracts. It's just a new form.
Yeah.
So today it was static. To no, yesterday it was static. Sorry, today is more dynamic. So the data was always an asset of value. It's just that the way we use them and present them today are different.
Mm.
So I would say for all the biggest company, I have seen company where the way they use data on a verbal way, small company, make them achieve the goal, and also biggest companies failing today because they are not able to understand the value creation of the data and the system and to
Mhm.
use them for decision making. Everything is in the data.
Mm-mm.
Everything is there. It's just that the way you structure your model is that you create an informations, you diagnostic them, you make a predictions and a precision. Then you achieve a result. We all day on daily basis we do that, right?
Mm.
So data has a set of value creations, and more of that. Data will be a key element for all the different decisions that we take the next years because it will be more dynamic, more in all our activities. It will
Mhm.
be supported by AI, helping us to boost our decision and our capability. But human need this information to be able to achieve the goal of an enterprise. So I
Mm.
would say that today is really valuable, and I hope that people will start to build in one of that some
Yeah.
organization to be able to explore better this information.
Yeah, you were saying a lot about the decision making aspect, and how I view it is like the data is, for people who understand system control, is it's like your feedback loop, right? You know your activity, but you have a technological way to get a real time feedback on how it's behaving and how you can, forecast the future. So
Exactly, and because everything is more, more you better you predict, better you are stable because you are able to anticipate some movement in order to adjust. At the
mhm.
end of the year, we want to have a financial result. If you better forecast your inventory, you are better to achieve your result, and
Yeah.
you better anticipate the customer demand by mastering the information from the market. You know the breakdown of your machine on a certain period, so you know that in this zone you cannot plan any
Mm.
production. You know the fluctuation of your organization. You know that in this period you have new entries, so you
Mhm.
prepare better or training material. So by more using this set of data and interpretations, you can better manage your KPI to achieve your result and everything inside. Then after, of course, you have skills and people to interpret that. This is where you
Right.
need to build training to
Interesting.
explain.
I mean, I'm really happy to have you as an enterprise architect and talk about all of this. So we have covered a lot. It's been almost an hour now, so I think we will stop there. But
Well, it
very
was a
interesting, like on the people, on the process, on the technology aspects. And one last question: what is the hobby of an enterprise architect like you?
let me find that.
I'm
uh,
sure it will be something very original, but
it's this book, you see.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. No, um, hobbies. I like technologies, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm little bit the gadget guys, I would say. But the
Mm-hmm.
most important I'm saying is that we like to speak with people to understand the complexity between, meeting many culture. I like
Mm-hmm.
to participate to some kind of activity this way. And mainly, you see that an enterprise architecture, normally the type of sport we do are football or rugby or all the things like that because we like
Yeah.
to coordinate activities in the center.
Group
You are
sport.
not a full project manager, but you are observing the way externally, the way how your system is moving.
Mm,
And what is the best than that to understand and to predict what will happen. And I'm very happy to that I start this job in 2021
mhm,
for my company because today I'm able to really help my management taking decisions. And
mhm.
reduce the risk of our initial risk as much as possible. So it's very interesting. And our hobbies are sport, reading this kind of crazy books on architecture and patterns, and trying to make the impossible possible by just designing processes and bringing components and technological component on that. So,
Great, great. Anyway, that's some really nice hobbies, and yeah, I'm sure you enjoy yourself,
yeah.
especially in Czech Republic. So, as a conclusion, maybe I'll let you, if you accept, say some words in Czech to your colleague from Safran who have
Oh,
been listening to this, and now you can talk to them in Czech and tell them, I don't know,
tell
maybe
them, I
the
would tell
best
them Happy
wishes.
New Year. Všechny nejlepší k nového roku,
Hmm,
hlavně zdraví a se uvidíme příštího roku.
excellent. Thank you, Bindioa. That was a great discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll keep in touch. How can people get in touch with you?
You have when you will be able to share this presentation
Yeah.
live, you can add my professional email, like the Nimrod one. They will be able to
Okay.
to contact me also via LinkedIn. I'll be more than glad to share with them the
Right.
knowledge. And very thank you, Mark, for what you are doing, because it allows us to share our ideas, but not also meeting people like you for
Sure.
next activities that we could have.
My pleasure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank Bindioa. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.